Kids from other towns would say, oh yeah, you guys had that big rash of, kids dying, right? And it occurred to me, like, this was a really tough time.
911, this call is recorded. What is your emergency?
It's just so unreal to be in high school and suddenly, somebody that you were with the night before, is dead the next day and you're going to a funeral. Nobody goes out and says, oh, I think today I'll get in an accident, that it just happens.
Bob Nass is the founder of Students Against Destructive Decisions, or SADD. He, along with David Daggett, here to talk about this year's Safe and Sober Prom message. Good morning to both of you.
I devote my life to this mainly because I lost two boys. I lost two hockey players. And I made a mistake. And I was guilty about it, but I wasn't guilty in the sense that I thought I could have prevented it. I was guilty in the sense that I guess I didn't have the ability at the time to think through the process of why these kids died.
The first year when we were all sort of going through this experience, we didn't know that it was something. SADD itself really became an organized kind of entity that wasn't just a sort of, crisis response thing. It just became bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just unrolled into so many different areas and high schools and colleges and all around.
When we started, we had a core group of, I think, 3 or 4 sophomores and juniors. And it's grown to the point that at 1 or 2 meetings this year, we had almost 50 kids.
Our presence is really growing, and I think that people understand the importance of SADD and getting other students to know, the dangers of alcohol and marijuana and other drug use. We want them to have that information so they can make their own choices.
And that's not necessarily drugs or drinking. That's, relationships, that's school, that's planning, that's thinking about what you're going to do after you get out of high school or college, and just making the best decisions that they can.
He was going to take a right turn and go 100 yards up the street. That's his house. Nervous. Few beers. Depth perception's thrown off. He isn't buckled up. Hit that fog bank. He went through it. Hit a tree head on. People, the explosion in that car was so great, it blew him out the passenger door, and he broke his neck and died right there. When you're dead at 17, kid, you are dead.
I think SADD's purpose is just to keep kids safe and to just give them information. As a community as a whole, we've really made Wayland a lot safer because now these kids know the dangers and they know what will happen if they drink and drive, and if they get caught by the police or if they get an accident, or even if they don't, they know the dangers of what could have happened. And I think that stops a lot of people too.
We traveled to California and to Orlando to the SADD national conferences.
Florida was a very interesting experience because in Wayland we don't really have a lot of times that we meet together with other SADD groups from around the state. So we went from our little SADD group being about like 8 people to going to a SADD national convention where there was more than 1,000 people from all over the country there.
They made us stand up and they gave us like an ovation. We were sort of like overwhelmed with how crazy it is that a lot of the kids that go to the school don't really know that a nationally recognized organization that's everywhere, literally everywhere in this country, started here.
It was very eye-opening to see how different regions of the country really deal with different things in their SADD groups. We're not just the only ones fighting. There's a lot of other kids out there who believe in it.
But the key is to have them know they should not participate in anything that's DUI. And that's the life-saving event right there. And to sign this. Because the realistic world out there is that they're going to be exposed to an awful lot. And some students with that negative peer pressure just submit. And they make one mistake. Well, one mistake can cost you your life. We don't want anyone's picture in a yearbook, God, because later on in life they're going to look at that student and they're going to look back and they have a memory and they'll say what everyone says, boy, what they could have been. We don't want that. That's our mission, to stop that yearbook page.